Thinking of exiting your business or taking on a private equity partner to help you grow faster? BizNexus has you covered. Tap into our network of thousands of best-fit investors, acquirers, and proven M&A advisors, and we'll help you begin the relationship confidentially on your terms, your timeline. Learn more at biznexus.com.
Disclaimer from the always present legal team. Podcast conversations don't necessarily reflect the views of BizNexus Incorporated. Everything you hear is informational news and updates from around the industry. We're not recommending any investments. We're not offering any investment advice. Be sure to do your own homework.
Have you ever felt like you're just staring at a mountain of information, especially, when it comes to business deals? It feels like everyone's speaking in code.
We really can, yeah.
Well, today our mission is basically to cut through that noise, to give you that map. We're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of mergers and acquisitions.
M&A.
Specifically, the key milestones and the documents involved in the M&A process. We're leaning on some great insights here, sources like CC Capital Advisors, who've laid out a really clear roadmap for this, let's face it, often pretty complex journey.
Yeah, they do good work there.
Our goal, for you to gain a concise but still thorough understanding. You'll get up to speed fast.
Absolutely. And breaking down complex things like M&A into understandable steps is just so important. It can seem really opaque otherwise.
Like watching a play without the script you said earlier.
Exactly. So our goal today is to demystify it, walk through the essential phases, the critical documents, and we'll pay some attention to the lower middle market nuances too. That's where so many private businesses actually change hands.
Right, not just the giant corporate deals.
Not at all. And understanding these stages, it gives you really valuable insight into how these deals get done, why each step matters for everyone involved, whether you're, maybe selling a family business someday or just trying to make sense of the business news.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're starting right at the beginning, like before buyers even know exactly whose business they might be looking at.
That early stage, yeah.
This first phase is all about what we call marketing materials. And the big goal here is simple. Introduce the business, but crucially, keep it confidential. It's a bit of a delicate dance, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A tightrope walk sometimes.
The very first document you'll often see is called a teaser. Now, the name kind of gives it away, right? It's designed to tease interest. It's brief. It's anonymous. It carefully avoids naming the company or giving away really specific details.
Somewhat.
Instead, it highlights key but non-identifying stuff. Like the industry, maybe some high-level financials, think revenue or EBITDA ranges, and a general location, not the street address.
Right, maybe Pacific Northwest or Southeast manufacturing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really just enough to make a potential buyer go, okay, tell me more, without giving away the farm.
What's fascinating, as you said, is that delicate balance. Enticing interest, but protecting super sensitive info. And that balance gets locked down immediately with a really critical legal document.
Okay. What's that?
Well, once a buyer shows even a little interest from that teaser, they have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA.
The famous NDA.
The very same. And it's not just a formality, it's a legally binding contract. It makes sure all the information shared from that point on stays strictly confidential.
Super important.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Especially, in that lower middle market, sometimes owners might feel like they can skip it with someone they think is friendly. Big mistake. It builds the necessary trust to actually share the real details later. Keep secrets safe from competitors.
Okay, so confidentiality is locked down with the NDA.
Yeah.
Then the seller can open the kimono a bit more for the serious potential buyers.
Exactly. Now they can share the real story.
And that leads to the next document.
It does. That's where the Confidential Information Memorandum, or CIM, comes in. Some people call it the book.
The book, okay.
Yeah, because if the teaser was just that brief glimpse, the CIM is like the full, detailed documentary, high-definition picture.
Right.
This document goes deep. It details the company's full operations, its market position, very detailed financials, growth opportunities, everything.
Paints the complete picture.
The complete picture, warts and all, ideally. So a serious buyer can start to really understand the true value, the potential. And, what's often missed, especially in the lower middle market, is that the CIM isn't just an info dump. It's also framing the seller's story.
Ah, interesting. Like a sales tool, too.
Very much so. Guiding the buyer's view of growth, maybe downplaying some risks subtly, it's critical.
Okay, so the CIM lays out the full story. The buyers read the book, they're hooked. But maybe not ready to propose marriage just yet.
Not quite yet, no.
So what's next? They take a first sort of calculated step forward. This brings us to the second key milestone, the indication of interest, the IOI.
The IOI, yes.
So this IOI document, it's basically a non-binding letter from the buyer. It says, okay, based on the CIM, I'm interested, and here's roughly what I'm thinking.
A serious signal, but not the final word.
Right. It usually includes a preliminary valuation range for the company, not a firm offer, just a ballpark.
Yeah, we're thinking somewhere between X and Y million.
Exactly. And an outline of the proposed deal structure, like how they might finance the purchase, and maybe some major contingencies, things that could change their mind based on what they know so far.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, the whole point of the IOI is exactly that. Gauge the interest, outline potential terms, but without legally binding anyone yet.
Crucial that it's non-binding at this stage.
Incredibly important for both sides. The buyer gets to put initial thoughts down without full commitment before they do the really deep digging.
Right.
And for the seller, especially in that lower middle market space, it's a huge reality check. It tells them if their own valuation hopes are anywhere near what the market thinks, helps calibrate expectations without going public with a price tag.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So let's say there's this preliminary alignment. Buyer and seller are kind of in the same ballpark with the IOI. Now the buyer wants to really roll up their sleeves, right? Get into the weeds.
Absolutely. Time for the deep dive.
Which brings us to milestone number 3, due diligence. This is literally the deep dive investigation into the company's guts.
No stone unturned time.
The whole purpose is just that.
Well,
Let the buyer thoroughly check everything. Operations, financials, legal, you name it. It's the moment of truth, really, isn't it?
it absolutely is. And a huge part of this is getting data room access.
Not like a dusty room in the back anymore, I assume?
Rarely. Almost always. It's a secure online repository, a virtual data room.
Okay.
The seller uploads tons of detailed documents there for the buyer to review. Financial statements, tax returns, legal contracts, employee agreements, customer lists, everything. It's the central hub for all the critical info.
Sounds like a lot.
It is. And honestly, what often gets overlooked is the sheer volume. For smaller, lower middle market businesses, just organizing all this can be a massive task. And if it looks messy or documents are missing, that can raise red flags, unfortunately, even if there's no real issue.
Preparation is key then.
Hugely key.
And it's not just digging through documents, right? There are also management presentations.
Yes. Very important.
These are actual meetings, face-to-face or virtual, where the seller's management team presents the company's strategy, strengths, weaknesses, future plans.
Their vision.
Exactly. And crucially, they have to answer any and all questions from the buyer. It's like a really intense, high-stakes job interview for the whole company.
That's a good analogy.
I've heard stories where just like an awkward silence or a manager fumbling a key number in one of these meetings can cause more doubt than finding a small issue in the financials.
It's true. Body language, confidence, transparency, it all matters. And this really underlines the why of due diligence. It's absolutely crucial for the buyer. They need to verify the claims from the CIM.
Check the homework.
Check the homework, uncover potential risks that weren't obvious before, and really understand the true health and value of what they're potentially buying. I've seen deals change dramatically here, finding unrecorded debts, major customer issues.
Stuff that kills the deal.
Sometimes kills it, sometimes just drastically changes the price or terms. And for those lower middle market sellers, this stage is a huge test of their transparency and how well they prepared. Trying to hide stuff, even small stuff, it almost always comes out and can destroy trust, unraveling the whole deal.
Okay, so due diligence is done. It was exhaustive, but let's say the buyer still likes what they see. We're getting closer to a handshake now, but maybe still need like a safety net.
Exactly. Still one more non-binding but very serious step usually.
And that brings us to milestone 4, the letter of intent or LOI.
The LOI. Getting serious now.
So this LOI document, it's a big step up from the IOI, right? Much more detailed.
Definitely more detailed.
But then this is key. It still holds that mostly non-binding status on the core deal terms like price. Is that right?
Generally, yes. The price and structure terms are usually still non-binding, but some other parts can be binding.
Okay, so what does it outline specifically?
Well, it'll have the proposed purchase price, often a more precise figure now, or maybe a very narrow range compared to the IOI.
Sharpening the pencil.
Exactly. A more refined deal structure.
Yeah.
a detailed timeline for any remaining due diligence, if there is any, and crucially, very often an exclusivity period.
Ah, exclusivity. That sounds important.
It's a big deal. It means the seller agrees not to negotiate with any other potential buyers for a set period of time, maybe 30, 60, 90 days.
So the seller takes their company off the market for this one buyer.
Essentially, yes. It ties the seller's hands for a bit, which shows real commitment from them too.
Okay, so that raises the question you mentioned. If the main terms are still non-binding, what's the real power of the LOI? Why bother?
Great question. Its power lies in outlining all the key agreed-upon terms before everyone spends a ton of money on lawyers drafting the final binding agreement.
Like a blueprint.
Exactly, a detailed blueprint for the final deal. It's a very strong signal of commitment from both sides. Even if not fully enforceable on price, it shows a mutual understanding, a good faith agreement to push towards the finish line.
Psychologically important too.
Hugely, especially for that lower middle market seller. Seeing an LOI signed, that's massive. It validates their effort, signals the buyer is truly serious, not just, kicking tires anymore. It basically says, okay, we agree on the big stuff, let's get the lawyers involved to make it official.
Right. Which leads us finally to the finish line. The ultimate binding commitment.
The moment everyone's been working towards.
Milestone number 5. The purchase agreement, or PA. This is it. The document that seals the deal, transfers ownership. No turning back now, right?
Pretty much. This is the legally binding contract.
So the purchase agreement is the culmination, the fully binding contract making the whole thing official. And it must be incredibly comprehensive.
Oh, incredibly. It covers every single aspect of the transaction you can think of.
Like what specifically?
Well, you've got the seller's representations, basically statements of fact about the company's condition, its financials, its operations, then warranties, guarantees about those facts. Covenants, promises to do or not do certain things before or after closing.
Okay, lots of legal detail.
Tons. But what really makes this the finish line, and often where the most intense final negotiations happen, is the section on indemnifications.
Indemnifications. Sounds heavy. What's that about?
It is heavy. It's where the real risk allocation happens post-closing. They specify who pays for what if, say, one of those seller representations turns out to be false later on. Or if some hidden liability pops up after the deal closes, but it relates to the time before the sale.
Ah, so who's on the hook if something unexpected goes wrong?
Exactly. This section defines who is responsible for those specific losses, for how long and up to what amount. It's often heavily negotiated. It defines the long-term financial exposure for both sides.
I can see why that's critical.
Totally. If a seller said, no lawsuits pending, and boom, 2 years later one emerges from the pre-sale period, the indemnification clause says who pays the legal fees and any damages. This legal finality is the huge difference from all the non-binding stages before. It's the journey's end, from just initial interest to a definitive enforceable agreement.
And for a lower middle market buyer, maybe without a giant legal team, getting those clauses right must be paramount.
Absolutely paramount. Ensuring they're clear, fair, and protective is crucial.
Wow. So, okay, what does this all mean? We've journeyed through these pretty intricate steps of an M&A process, from that first anonymous peek in a teaser.
Right up to the final signatures on that purchase agreement.
It really is a structured dance, isn't it? Information, negotiation, commitment, where each step seems designed to systematically reduce uncertainty and manage risk.
That's a great way to put it. We've seen how each document, each milestone, builds on the last. Teaser, NDA, CIM, IOI, due diligence, LOI, PA. Each one clarifies things, manages risk for both buyer and seller.
And especially in that lower middle market context you mentioned, where maybe relationships are more personal?
Exactly. Even with strong relationships, these formal steps provide that crucial framework. They help navigate what are, let's face it, really complex financial and legal realities. It really shows the value of having a structured approach for these high-stakes deals.
So why should you, listening right now, care about all these steps? Well, maybe you're building a business, maybe you'll sell it someday, or buy another one.
Or you're an investor, trying to understand market moves.
Right. Or maybe you just find the mechanics of how the business world works fascinating. Understanding this stuff gives you clarity, gives you context for those big headlines about acquisitions. You appreciate the immense work involved.
Definitely. And maybe here's a final thought to chew on. Think about how clearly defining each stage, like we've just walked through for M&A, creates clarity. How it enables these massive, complex undertakings.
Breaking it down makes it manageable.
Precisely. Think about the strategic edge you get from knowing not just what the next step is, but why it matters and what risks it's designed to handle. So the question for you is, where else? Where else in your life or the world around you could applying a similar systematic approach, breaking down complexity into defined stages, lead to deeper understanding and ultimately really successful outcomes?
Consider the power of that structured thinking, not just for billion-dollar deals, but maybe for planning a big project, tackling a personal challenge, even just organizing your own finances more effectively. It's a powerful tool.
Acquiring a business? BizNexus simplifies it. Access thousands of updated opportunities in our DIY marketplace or supercharge team sourcing with OmniSource, your all-in-one platform for on-market, off-market, and coming-soon deals. Scale smarter today. Learn more or book a demo at www.biznexus.com.